one of these and do the same thing. Run this through a few times, kind of clean out that solvent and then the big debris that you've broken off the inside of the barrel. And then you want to move on to get your eye outlet, your eyepiece here, and then you get your swabs. Now take your swab, and you can see how white and pretty this is, right? When you just go through it a couple times, it's not going to look pretty anymore. It's going to have a bunch of carbon on it. Where I went through, you're probably going to run through about 20 of these maybe before this comes out pure white and clean like it went in. Once that's done, you'll know that your barrel's clean. So if it's not nice and white as it went in, it's obviously not clean. Continue to do so. Okay. With a rag, go ahead and dip a little solvent on it. Go ahead and rub this down, all your springs down, clean the carbon off of it. Then you want to generously lube this. So just put some lubrication on another rag or a different part of the rag, and kind of just overlap it and twist, and that will get the lubrication on the spring and keep it clean and lubricated so it doesn't create rust or whatever. Then take your firing pin out. Get your brush. And your brush, you want to clean. Carbon will build up around this piece here. If you get too much carbon, it will restrict the firing pin from going completely through. And if that happens, when you pull the trigger, you're not going to get a fire around. And you'll probably have a hang fire or something like that. So make sure you clean that off. And clean up in here, up in here. You just want to make it look nice and pretty. Same thing here. Use some Q-tips. Go ahead and swab these out and get the carbon out of there. I found some in mine. And clean the spring and lubricate it. Now, again, the pin here. Clean this all up, including the hole. Okay. Alright. I could go in more depth on how to take the firing the trigger mechanism apart, but I'm not going to bother doing that because this is not going to get as dirty as everything else. But if you need further explanation or instructions on how to disassemble this, there is a website, www.high-point-firearms.com/manuals/C-9_CF380.pdf. Yes, it said say 380 because the C9 model and the 380 are basically the same thing, just different size round. Okay. So, but for now, what we can do is use some lubricating oil. Put some lubricating oil in here. But first, before we do that, I take, if you have a dental tool, or if you can get your hands on some dental tools, if not, get a paper clip, kind of pull it out and bend it to make a makeshift dental tool. These are great for getting carbon out of small areas, out of crooks and crevices. And if there's anything in here, go ahead and scrape it out with your tool. Wipe it off on your rag. Continue to do so till it's clean. Once you've done that, you can also use your Q-tips. Get your Q-tips down in here, kind of twist it. That will clean those areas out. And in here, and down in here. There we go. So once you've cleaned all that out, you can take your lubricating oil, a few drops, not much at all. Kind of get lubricated so that it doesn't seize up on you. Okay. Also, there'll be gunk and carbon build up around where the bullet will enter, you're going to want to clean that out, make sure it's nice and pretty, and using that tool, I was going to see a piece here. There we go. Clean that all out of there. Use your Q-tip to clean up other areas too. Q-tips have to be white too. If they're not white, it's still dirty. Obviously my handgun's not completely clean yet. Okay. Let's move on to the slide. Slide has a lot of nooks and crannies and a lot of carbon buildup. You'll notice down in here, a lot of carbon will build up specifically around where the firing pin goes, and that's because, well, obviously that's where most of the carbon shoots out of the bullet, and that's where it'll sit. So you really got to get in there and clean this out really good. Use this to scrape it. You can use Q-tips to clean it. Lots of solvent. Dip your Q-tip in the solvent, rub it through. That'll clean it all up. I'm ex-military, so U.S. Army Infantry, they've taught me to use shaving cream, actually. It works great with getting carbon out of tough areas. I don't know what's in there does it, but it just kind of clings the carbon to it, and well, I don't recommend using water, but in the military we used water on our handgun, on our rifles, and washed that shaving cream right off, and then put a generous amount of lubricating oil on there just to keep it from rusting. And it worked really well, and it was quick to do. But I don't suggest using water. Just use what you can pick up at Walmart or Dunham's or wherever you go to get your cleaning supplies. And the carbon and the solvent works great. So if you want to use the shaving cream, you have a big job, and like on a 12 gauge shotgun or something like that, go ahead and try it. So okay. Clean it all out. As you can tell, there's holes in here. Use the tool to clean out in there. Get down into where the firing pin goes, where the feed's at. And you can, starting from the one end here, slide this in, lift up. You can slide back and forth, tilt it back to side to side, twist around inside here. You can see it's coming dirty. I fired it today. Not bad. I did 50 rounds and only put one out of the target. Not bad for 40 yards. It's actually a nice handgun. This is very accurate for, the price was unbelievable. For $150 for this handgun. It's not bad. I think it was $137 for the 380. I went with the 9mm because it's just easier to find the rounds than the 380, even though the 9mm is even hard to find. When Walmart does stock it, grab them. So, actually, I went and bought two boxes at Walmart for 100 rounds a piece, and they were $20 a piece. And I've already gone through one box firing them just to get used to my handgun. So, okay. Now that's all clean. I'm just going to quickly go on with this here. I got a lot more cleaning to do, but I'm just going to show you guys some things. Lubricate all the slides. Put some lubrication inside here. Use your Q-tip, put some lubrication on Q-tip, clean one obviously, and run it up and down. Make sure that's all lubricated. All the slides are lubricated. Don't bother really lubricating inside here. That just gives. That's not really going to help the book. Actually, the carbon will build up a lot faster that way, so let's not even bother doing that. But you can lubricate the outside. Lubricate right here where the bullet feeds. Again, lubricate up in here where your trigger mechanism's at. Stay away from lubricating the plastic. You don't need to lubricate plastic. Obviously, your hand's going to slide right off of it. Okay. lubricate your firing pin, lubricate your spring.